Good afternoon, all, and thank you for joining us for another Secret Sunday session today. Today, I'm very excited because I have my brother on for this session today. And we're going to be talking all about the sibling perspective and how they cope when their sibling is going through an eating disorder, as well as Ryan's experience during that time. And we're also going to get a little bit to know about my little brother. So I'm very excited to have him on today. He looks very thrilled to be here. So thank you, Ryan. Hopefully we don't laugh our way through the whole entire thing, but I think it'd be great just to get his perspective. So to start us off, Ryan, do you want to give us a little insight who you are, how old you are, and what are you doing with your life?
Well, as everyone knows already, I am Ryan. I am Ashley's brother, younger brother. Um, I am age of 17, 17, going on to 18 at the end of the year. A little bit about myself is at a young age, I was diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD, which is very challenging when you have both of them working against each other. Um, but I got through it through school, and now that I've finally graduated, I'm finished school. I've now gone on to hopefully bigger and better things with, um, working at the Ivory with my sister, which is sometimes fun but painful at the same time.
For yourself.
And I am hopefully, pursuing my career in AFL. Um, there's always options there. I'm working with kids now. I've just got my qualification, so now I'm a child educator. I think that's what they say. So I've got a few options for my future, but that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. And obviously, we know about your diagnosis of dyslexia and ADHD, but when you were younger, how did that impact you in your life? Did you find it challenging?
With dyslexia, it was a bit hard, more on like the English, maths, and the educational side. Learning how to read and write, going through year one to year six and year seven to year 12, I was always at that, you know, 3, 4 years behind in reading and writing where everyone else wasn't. And that was really hard for me. And I've had to learn, and I'm still struggling now. I'll think of a sentence in my head and I'll say it, but I won't say the sentence I was thinking. And then, it all gets jumbled up, And with the ADHD side, I had struggle, concentrating. And if you notice now, I'm not even looking at the camera. I'll look around the room, and like right now, I got to move my feet, move my fingers. I've always got to be moving. I sort of can't sit still. And I always have bursts of energies, and, I'd be really tired, but then, you know, for you guys, you might have a coffee or an energy drink to get that boost back up. Where with me, if I had that, it would make me tired. I have my own natural, energy drink that sort of just gives me a boost. So it was them working against each other was really difficult to get through. They don't really like to work together. Um, lost having a really good memory, but then again, placing my phone somewhere, I turn around for a second, forget where everything is. But then I can remember things from when I was like 3 years old. So, but I guess that's like everyone. It affects, a lot of people have dyslexia worse than me. With mine, I read words backwards. I can do all that sort of stuff. Um, and,
Did it play a part on how you were perceived by your friends? Did your friends see you a different way? Or I know even sometimes when you came home, you used to be quite vulnerable and be quite sad because people would perceive you as dumb.
in primary school, I feel like I had that a lot. High school, I had it, but like I sort of, I grew up a bit to know like their opinion doesn't matter. You take it in, yeah, laugh and giggle with all you want at me, and I sort of just brush it off. Um, Primary school, a lot of people, didn't really understand dyslexia. I didn't really understand it myself back then until when I started getting to high school year six. I really started to understand what it was like and how it affected me. Um, Going into high school, um, at the start, meeting new friends, I was really, really quick. It was easy for me to make new friends. I wasn't a shy person. I was sort of the class clown and the goofball that, everyone would laugh at. But I do, because I liked that attention. That was me being a person. I liked getting attention. Started to grow up now knowing that, yes, they were fun memories back then. But were they actually laughing with me or were they laughing at me? It doesn't sort of just brush over it now. Um, but yeah, that's sort of.
How did sport and AFL help you?
So with sport, I started off when I was younger playing league because my family had a history with league, like pop and all that. So I played league for 9 years, all through primary school, bit through high school, and then I transitioned over to AFL when I met my AFL coach at school, Mr. Edwards, who helped me actually make it all the way to state, or state for the state trials in Blacktown, where we went for a big road trip there. And that's when I started playing. And I've tried other sports since then, like tennis, cricket, all the other sports, volleyball, basketball. And I sort of just couldn't find the right sport for me, I guess. I started growing, started getting bigger, started getting taller, and I sort of just thought that, well, AFL, you need to be big, you need to be tall, fast, athletic, fit. I thought I've sort of got some of that. So I went to AFL. I joined my local team, Cooley Blues, where I had a couple school friends that played there. Then I met all my footy friends that play there now. And I've been playing there for I think 6 or 5 years now, and I've loved it ever since. And it's helped me mentally, physically. My fitness is better than what it ever was before. Every coach that I've had has been amazing. Has helped me get through mental issues that I've had before, and it's sort of made me the person I am today. So
Awesome. Now, I want to talk you through the experience when I was diagnosed with anorexia. I still remember that day coming home from the Tweed Mental Health and everyone sitting at the table and mum saying, your sister has anorexia. Can you take me through what were your initial thoughts in that moment when you heard that I was diagnosed with an eating disorder?
Well, at that point in time, how old was I? I was about say,
what
was it 6 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yeah, you would have been 11 or 12.
I think I would have just started high school, year 7, going into high school when I first got told about it. I don't really remember, but I most likely probably wouldn't have understand what it is. Like, I didn't have much understanding of it. All I heard was, sister having anorexia, blah, blah, blah. And that's pretty much it. But we go forward a few months or a few weeks, starting to see what it did to you and what it is. Started to understand more that this is actually like hurting my sister, and like it's hurting our family watching you go through it.
Yeah. Did you feel, if we talk about, because we went through some pretty extreme and traumatic things during my recovery of anorexia. How did you feel in those moments when you were witnessing mum and dad shoving down food, like just shoving food into me, or I was sitting there and I was screaming, I was crying? How did that make you feel?
At the time, I felt like it's not fair for Ashley to be having this. Like, why couldn't it be anyone else? Why did it have to be you? Like, at the time, we had Adam, who was staying with us, and which Adam was a footy player up from Dorrigo. He came to stay with us, and he sort of became my best friend then at that time, because when you were getting food shoved down your throat and screaming and all that, mum and dad had no time for me. There was Jared's just left, or Jared was, leaving home, sort of in that stage, or he wasn't home rarely. And in that stage, I was sort of by myself, and I had to deal with it by myself. But when Adam was there, Adam would take me out so I wouldn't have to deal with it. So I wouldn't have to see you go through that traumatic experience, and I didn't have to deal with it. Adam would take me out to dinner, would go out, go to the beach, go do something, activities. And he stayed with us for how long? Maybe a year or so.
Mm.
And without Adam, I reckon if I would have stayed home and watched you every day get food, I don't reckon I'd be how I am today. I reckon I'd still be pretty traumatized.
Because it wasn't the best experience to see.
It wasn't, no. Like, even trying to go to bed or like, just try to do my daily, routine at home. You'd always hear screaming, "Go away, mum, go away, dad. No, I don't want anything to do with you. You're out screaming, trying to vomit, doing all these things to your body that shouldn't be happening." And I just have to sit there and cop it all. But there's no one there to mentally support me at the time, because all of it's on you. So how it used to make me feel, I still had to go to school then. So I had to wake up for you screaming, go to school, go into class, thinking when mum first told me, she came into the room and she goes, "Ryan, sorry, your sister will die tomorrow." Hearing that and knowing that what's happening and what I'm experiencing I'm just like, I've fucking lost my sister. I'm never going to have a sister ever again. And that's the whole time you had anorexia, the whole time you were in hospital, you came out of the clinic, all that sort of stuff, which was for about 4 years. We were going through it. Every day I was thinking, I'm going to lose my sister. I was in this crap. I was in the worst mental state I've ever been before. I had suicide thoughts of my own at school. I had all these different things at school. I used to go into school bawling my eyes out, and my only best mate there, Kelvin, was there for me, and no one else knew what was happening apart from my teachers. I think mum or someone told school about what was happening at home, and the teachers knew that I could go outside, but I couldn't even walk into class. I'd bawl my eyes out, screaming at school. Kelvin would be there, and I had to leave. I just wouldn't go to class. I'd start doing crap things at school, getting in trouble, doing all this, because it just took my mind off thinking that you were going to die. Because the more I didn't do anything and sat there and burdened about it, the more I thought about you dying, and I couldn't think about that, which made me feel shit.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, mate, and know that you were all alone is really tough to take, because I know that everyone was focused on me and trying to fix me and trying to help me, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Honestly, I'm so sorry. Did you find that, for example, when you said that you had Kelvin, how did you express that to him? How did you explain to people what was happening at home?
Couldn't really explain anything, really. Like, I was sort of just trying to cope it by myself, trying to tell people that my sister's going to die. Like, even if you were in their perspective and someone told you that even if it's a family member like your pop or something, but your sister or your mum and dad who are with you every single day, knowing someone coming up and telling you that my sister's dying or my sister's going to die. Like, I just remember telling my friends, and just me going down on my knees, bawling my eyes out, telling all the girls at school that I was friends with in the girls group that I'm not going to see my sister ever again. Like, she's in hospital and she's not eating, she's not doing all this. And like, they were just there for me. Like, without my friends and my teachers at school, I don't think I could have got through it.
Yeah.
Like, even, having mum and dad help me to a certain extent, but my friends were the biggest part of my life then. To help me, biggest support.
Did you find that you hated coming home?
Um, it wasn't the sort of hate coming home. It was the fear that I was going to come home and you weren't here.
Mm.
Like me getting off the school bus and thinking, is my sister going to be here? Is she going to be in a coffin? Like, am I going to see my sister today? Or is she going like, but I'd come home, but and you'd be sitting down on the chair and they'd be shoving food into your face. Like, I don't think most teenagers at the age of 12 or 13 want to come home to seeing your sister getting force fed, screaming and refused, you getting held down by dad and mum forcing through food into your throat. Like, that's just a sight and image that you sort of can't unsee. And that, you know, thinking about that, and then you couldn't sleep at night, had nightmares, then I had to go to school the next day and deal with it all again and come home and see it all again. I saw it every single day for about 4 years. And then you went to hospital, and then I never saw you. I couldn't come visit you because I had to do school. On the weekends, it was too busy. There was only mum or dad here. Mum was mostly with you at hospital, so it was just me and dad at home by ourselves for weeks. You were at hospital for how long? Maybe 8 months?
No, we were at hospital for about 3 months. Yeah.
3 months, but it felt like a year. I didn't see you for 3 months.
Take me through, oh my God, that moment. So because I obviously wasn't at home during that time, what changed? Because we went from such a heightened home experience, the screaming, the trauma, to all of a sudden mum and I gone and silence being spread throughout the house. How did you and dad act when we were gone?
Well, it was quiet. It was nice for a change. It was very peaceful. But I know, it felt weird. It was different not having everyone there. Sort of like, you know, dad was at home. Dad was at work most of the time. You know, dad works across the border. Dad works in Queensland, and I came home from school. Dad wasn't home when I came home. So every day I'd be home for about 2 or 3 hours by myself. And dad would come home, we'd just cook, and dad would cook dinner and we'd eat dinner, just the two of us at the table.
Did you find there was any helpful distractions for you during that time, or anything that, apart from obviously Adam was a massive help, but anything that helped you get through that time?
Sport was a big help, because training Tuesday, Thursday, playing Saturday, that sort of took your mind off things. And then my friends really helped, knowing that. And at the time, you know, I would sort of stay at my friend's house most of the time, and stay over on the weekends and whatever, to sort of help me get through that.
How does it feel now, knowing that I'm on the other side and we're in a completely different place? How do you feel knowing that your sister did survive and she is sticking around?
Oh, I was astounded. Like, I remember, I'm so happy now, Ash, from where you've come from, like from the lowest to the lows, from you achieving your dreams and pursuing your goals, and just seeing you grow and improve from where you were is outstanding. You know, even though now that you did miss out on all those teenage years, and now that you are starting to, you know, do those teenage years now at your 20s, it's fun to watch, because, you know, you're going to start doing what I did. And, you know, it's going to be exciting to see where you will go and how you are going to act in the future. Because, you know, like, you know, obviously you missed out on that school environment. You know, being outside of school, you got the clubs, you got all that now that you can go to, and you can do all that sort of stuff. You didn't really do that when you turned 18 or 19. You've only just like recently started doing it. Knowing that, you know, you sort of, you know, being sneaky about things, hiding things, and, you know, being as a teenager would be, you know,
what sounds like a bit rich coming from you.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm slowly growing out of it. Not really, but slowly.
Do you think the experience has changed you as a person?
Oh, I definitely would not be the person I am today if none of it would have happened. I think about it most of the time being like, imagine if you never went through it, what would our family be like? Would we be as close as we would be? Would we be different? You know what I mean? Like, would we be the same people we are? Like, and I feel like we got a lot of knowledge and sort of
Maturity.
yeah, where as people say, you're like a 40-year-old in 20-year-old's body. You got a mind of a 40-year-old.
Yeah, yeah.
You're very responsible and you're very mature for your age, which a lot of parents and adults say they're the same for me. But and I sort of going back to that stage where you said who supported me, at the time I also had a girlfriend. I had Alicia who I was with for about 11 months, and she helped me get through it every day. She lived across the road. What a coincidence. So I was over there most of the time anyway. And going back to when we went to Christmas, that's when I started really, when we went away for holidays, you still weren't eating much. That's when I really, started to hit me hard, because I didn't really like to show what I was hiding, as you didn't either, and sort of all came out. And I remember the Christmas, Mum came up to me and said, "What's wrong?" Well, I tried to commit suicide. And and that's when I had to turn my life around, and I broke up with my girlfriend. I had to sort of live a completely different life, because I couldn't be living the one I was living then. I had sort of hit the reset button, went back to being single, sort of hung out with different friends, got a different job, moved on, sort of switched my life around to, I'm going to start living the life I want to live and how I want to live it. I don't want to live